I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband.
Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada.
And this was the most savage tick yet. They actually call her a tick. Watch this.
Yeah.
Okay. King Charles visited the U.S. to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain and to seek the release of a British hostage being held by an American.
For a long time, Meghan Markle's move into Hollywood was surrounded by huge expectations. Big deals were announced, major opportunities were talked about, and many people believed she and Prince Harry were about to build one of the biggest entertainment brands in the business. But as time passed, that confident image started running into a very different public conversation. And now even comedians are joining in on the debate.
Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
What began as industry chatter has slowly turned into one of the most talked about celebrity storylines online. One of the biggest talking points has been the reported value of the couple's entertainment agreements, which were widely described as being worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Those announcements created enormous expectations. Naturally, when projects finally arrived, many viewers expected standout results. Instead, some critics and commentators argued that the response simply didn't match the level of excitement that had been built around them.
If you're a busy mom like me, I have a simple, no-fuss way to make your kids' school lunch every morning. Let me show you how I made this.
So Meghan, tell me about your look.
My what?
Your look.
My look?
Your look.
Oh, my look! Oh, my look! Oh my gosh, that's so funny. This is the funniest, most relatable day. My what? And you know, it's so interesting because in England, they call them ladybirds. But where we are, we call them ladybugs. And I thought, what's a ladybird? It's a ladybug. Because we say ladybug.
I was telling H the other day over breakfast in Montecito, I feel like I've finally found the secret to success. Yeah. It's this one word that I've been slowly trying to weave into my kids' subconscious. The other day, Archie was trying to zip up his jacket, and he was getting so frustrated. Yeah. I got down, and I looked at him, soul to soul, and I said, "You can't zip it up. Yet. I love that."
One claim that has gained attention involves reported viewing rankings for one of Meghan's projects. Various commentators have pointed to lists suggesting the show ended up much lower than many people expected. While different ranking systems measure audiences in different ways, critics have used those numbers to argue that the project failed to deliver the impact many had predicted.
Meghan Markle, what's also in trouble is her career, because we have some new stats. We have some new stats about Meghan Markle's show With Love, Meghan. Let me read you some of these bullet points here. So, the Netflix original series dire viewer stats were revealed in the streamer's semi-annual What We Watched report, which tracks the most popular and most watched things on Netflix. Now, Meghan would have you believe she's this huge star and billions of people are watching her. No. Let me read you what's going on. With Love, Meghan came in at number 385. The show has garnered just 5.3 million views since its debut in March, which is a pretty dismal number for an original series on the streamer. Now, Suits, the show that Meghan, came to prominence on, not such prominence because I'd never seen it or heard of it, it earned 9.3 million viewers for its first season and ranked number 151. Now, I didn't even know there were 358 shows on Netflix. How do you come in 358? Is Meghan Markle the new Stephen Colbert?
Meghan Markle was there, who's a huge celebrity.
Yeah, you guys love Suits.
Specifically, Prince Harry loves Suits.
Yeah.
He used it like Tinder.
Supporters, on the other hand, have argued that streaming success isn't always easy to measure, and that audience figures can depend on which platform or source is being referenced. That's why it's important to separate public opinion from confirmed facts. Still, the disappointing narrative has become hard to ignore. Instead of focusing only on ratings, comedians and entertainment personalities have increasingly made Meghan part of their routines. Their jokes aren't always loud or over the top. Sometimes they simply list the events that have already happened and let the audience connect the dots themselves. That's exactly why some of those moments have attracted so much attention.
Love American telly. My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network. Check it out. She's amazing, isn't it? Yeah?
Right. The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
Oh, hilarious.
One comedian who has sparked discussion is Jimmy Carr. He's known for delivering sharp punchlines without raising his voice or making dramatic facial expressions. His style is calm, almost emotionless, which often makes the jokes land even harder.
Prince William or Prince Harry? Prince William or Prince Harry? Well, the royal family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashians. And Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he fucked up.
According to many viewers, Carr didn't need long stories or exaggerated performances. He simply highlighted details that were already being debated in public, and that alone was enough to get audiences reacting. From there, it seemed like other comedians became more willing to tackle the same subject. Once a public figure becomes regular material for comedy shows, it can signal that the conversation has moved beyond entertainment news and into mainstream pop culture.
I know who Kate Middleton is.
Beautiful woman.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great mum. Whenever the kids are being fussy and not going to bed, she puts on an episode of Suits and they're out. So,
what are you doing? Ow!
Stop it! Stop it!
Just give him a wet willy?
Yes, in England it's called a moist Matthew.
Whether people agree with those jokes or not, it's clear Meghan's public image has become a frequent topic across television, podcasts, and online commentary. But what really keeps this story alive isn't just the comedy. It's the growing discussion about expectations versus results. Critics argue that massive promises created equally massive expectations, while supporters believe Meghan has faced unusually intense scrutiny compared with other celebrities.
This woman is being paid millions of dollars to show how to cut into a pineapple.
Either way, the conversation doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon, and some of the strongest comments are still to come. The reason this story continues to dominate headlines is simple. Expectations were incredibly high from the very beginning. When Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepped away from royal duties and signed headline-making entertainment deals, many people believed they were about to reshape Hollywood. They had the attention, the connections, and the resources that countless actors, producers, and creators could only dream about.
How bad that trailer, that seems like the worst show that I've ever heard of.
I love a bad watch. I love a good bad watch. This is not that. This is really grueling to get through.
Because of that, every project they released was always going to be judged against enormous expectations.
My look. She likes my look.
Your fashion is like one of my favorite things.
One project that attracted particular attention was Meghan's Netflix lifestyle series. Before it even premiered, there was plenty of curiosity surrounding whether it would become a major success. Once it finally launched, however, reviews were far more mixed than many had predicted. Several critics published negative assessments, and audience reactions across review platforms were also divided. While plenty of viewers still enjoyed the show, others argued it didn't live up to the excitement that surrounded its release.
It's from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
Commentators have also pointed to reported streaming rankings that suggested the series struggled to become one of Netflix's biggest hits during the year. Different audience measurement companies often produce different rankings, so exact placements can vary, but critics have repeatedly highlighted those reports as evidence that the show didn't perform at the level many expected. When discussion later shifted toward another season, some entertainment commentators claimed the momentum had become even quieter, adding more fuel to the ongoing debate about the couple's Hollywood ambitions.
And then the other thing that's so interesting is when I was in Suits, we filmed in Toronto. And I don't live in Toronto, so I thought, am I gonna have to live in Toronto? So season 1, Toronto. Season 2, Toronto. So I was at my local beekeeper the other day and I said, how was your weekend? And he said, not long enough. I couldn't believe it. My local beekeeper said something so funny. Some nights I feel like noodles, but my husband H doesn't feel like noodles. But then the kids sort of feel like noodles, and then I just make noodles. Season 6, Toronto. Season 7, Toronto.
Attention soon turned to the couple's broader partnership with Netflix. For years, the agreement had been described as one of the biggest celebrity deals in streaming. As public speculation grew about its future, reports eventually suggested that the partnership would not continue in the same form once the agreement concluded. Supporters argued that large entertainment contracts often evolve over time, while critics viewed it as another sign that the original expectations had not been fully met. Either way, the reported outcome became another major talking point. The conversation didn't stop there. Meghan's podcast partnership with Spotify also became part of the wider debate. Only a limited number of episodes were produced before the collaboration came to an end, leading to widespread discussion across entertainment media. One executive associated with the company made remarks that quickly spread across headlines, and those comments have continued to be referenced whenever people discuss the couple's media ventures. Whether those opinions fairly represented the situation remains open to debate, but they undeniably shaped the public conversation.
Nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to $1 billion idea was marrying a prince.
I'm going to pose this question to you. You do a lot of business deals, a lot of negotiations.
I do?
Well, let's just
I wish I had been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation. The grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them. I got to get...
Another topic that frequently comes up involves the couple's repeated discussions about privacy. Critics have argued that there is a contradiction between seeking a quieter life while also producing documentaries, interviews, podcasts, and public appearances that explore personal experiences. Supporters, however, counter that sharing selected parts of their story does not necessarily conflict with wanting healthier boundaries around their private lives. That disagreement has remained one of the biggest dividing lines in public opinion. Even animated shows and late-night comedians have weighed in. Satirical programs have poked fun at what they see as inconsistencies, while television hosts have questioned whether the public messaging has always matched the couple's actions.
Party girl, actress, influencer, victim. Yeah, that's totally me.
We want privacy. We want privacy. Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving twife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving twife has always wanted her privacy. And you know what else? To hell with Canada. We are leaving. We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people. Come on, wife.
My view is that this is exactly why the story refuses to fade away. It's no longer just about individual projects. It's become an ongoing debate about image, expectations, and whether the promises made at the beginning have truly matched the results people expected. And as you'll see next, some of the strongest criticism came from voices that many people never expected to hear. As the public conversation kept growing, one theme seemed to appear over and over again in comedy routines and celebrity commentary. It wasn't necessarily about one interview, one documentary, or one business deal. Instead, many comedians argued that the overall message surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry had become repetitive.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Ooh. But not too far.
In their view, audiences were hearing the same frustrations presented again and again, and some entertainers began using that pattern as the basis for their jokes. That's where figures like Kelly Osbourne entered the discussion. Speaking from her own perspective, she suggested that difficult experiences are something nearly everyone faces in life. My takeaway from her comments wasn't that she dismissed anyone's personal struggles, but that she believed constantly returning to the same grievances eventually becomes less effective with the public. Whether people agree with that opinion or not, it's a viewpoint that has been echoed by several public figures over the past few years. Some commentators have even argued that every new interview or public explanation sometimes creates more questions instead of resolving old ones. Rather than changing public opinion, they believe repeated responses can encourage even more debate.
What's the title of her show? Love Meghan. For what? To watch? Who wants to watch Meghan Markle bake a pie?
The best way to have a snack is to take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag and then label this new bag, even though this bag already has a label on it. Tap water!
Of course, supporters of Meghan and Harry see things very differently, arguing that they simply deserve the chance to tell their side of the story. The divide between those two viewpoints remains one of the biggest reasons this topic continues generating headlines. Interestingly, criticism hasn't come exclusively from commentators who are usually skeptical of the couple. Even personalities who aren't typically associated with royal debates have occasionally expressed reservations or chosen not to fully embrace every aspect of the narrative.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Oh my God, that hat. Oh God, he's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? I mean, she bagged a fox.
That's one reason the discussion has spread far beyond royal watchers and into mainstream entertainment. One opinion I've noticed appearing repeatedly is that audiences eventually want to hear more than stories about past conflicts. Many people admire celebrities who acknowledge challenges but also move forward into new creative work.
Watch the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. And I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I hate them.
I don't think they will change because I don't think they have the capacity to, but they obviously should. The one person who I think has been really happy about all of this is Prince Andrew. I'm guessing that he has been nudging the royal family. Can you believe what Meghan did, huh? Can you believe it? Dragging this family's name into disrepute, shaming it.
Fair or unfair, some critics believe Meghan and Harry have struggled to shift public attention away from their disagreements and toward long-term entertainment success. Supporters, meanwhile, argue that the media often keeps dragging the conversation back to those same subjects, regardless of what they release next.
Really, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give about you.
A lot of people care. They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all. We do not give a We don't care.
Does not have friends. She does not care about other human beings. She only wants power. And the only way that she feels that she can get it is by leveraging her relationships with certain people. That's not friend.
Another major moment came when comedian Chris Rock addressed parts of the royal controversy during one of his stand-up specials. Speaking in his own style and from his own perspective, he questioned elements of the public narrative with several jokes that quickly spread online. His remarks became widely discussed, not necessarily because everyone agreed with them, but because they showed that one of comedy's biggest names was willing to tackle a subject many entertainers had previously approached more cautiously.
That face, she's not happy.
Oh, yeah, it's so hard to be pretty. So your life is so hard, you're a fucking princess.
His material reflected his own opinions rather than established fact, but it undeniably became part of the broader conversations surrounding Meghan and Harry. Later, Jimmy Carr approached the story from an entirely different angle. Instead of focusing only on recent headlines, he referenced history and drew comparisons that encouraged audiences to think about previous moments involving the British royal family.
Do Mark Zuckerberg, Wallace Simpson, and Adolf Hitler all have in common? Wallace Simpson, she was a divorced American lady and she caused the king to abdicate because he wanted to be with her. Do you remember?
So she's like vintage Meghan, old school Meghan.
That is a great way to describe Wallace Simpson. She's the original Meghan Markle.
One historical figure often brought into those conversations is Wallace Simpson, the American divorcee whose relationship with King Edward VIII became one of the most famous royal controversies of the 20th century. While every historical situation is unique and direct comparisons remain a matter of opinion, Carr's references demonstrated how some comedians are placing today's events into a much larger historical context. Whether those comparisons are fair is something viewers will ultimately decide for themselves. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear: this story has evolved far beyond royal headlines. It now sits at the intersection of celebrity culture, media, comedy, and public opinion, making it one of the most discussed celebrity narratives of recent years. And the final chapter of this debate brings together all of those different perspectives in a way that few people expected. As more people weighed in, the conversation expanded beyond recent headlines and into comparisons with royal history. Some commentators argued that the challenges surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle weren't entirely unique, pointing to earlier chapters in the monarchy that also sparked major public debate. While history never repeats itself in exactly the same way, those comparisons have become a regular part of the discussion whenever the couple makes headlines. Jimmy Carr was one of the comedians who touched on that idea during his routine. Rather than focusing only on current events, he referenced past royal controversies to suggest that the monarchy has faced difficult personal relationships before.
Everybody trying to be a victim. Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Seemed like a nice lady, just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light skin lottery? And still going on complaining, acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers? So racist, they're so racist. Some of the shit she went through was not racism. It was just some in-law shit. Cause she's complaining, I'm like, what the she talking about? Oprah, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know.
Whether people agree with those comparisons is entirely a matter of opinion, but they have certainly added another layer to the public conversation surrounding Harry and Meghan. Carr also offered his own interpretation of Prince Harry's journey after leaving royal life. His suggestion was that Harry spent much of his early life in an environment where major decisions were guided by those around him. According to Carr's comedic perspective, once Harry stepped away from that structure, he may have simply exchanged one set of influences for another. That was presented as comedy rather than fact, but it became one of the most talked about observations from his performance. Interestingly, even while making jokes about Harry, Carr appeared noticeably more restrained when mentioning Prince William. Several viewers pointed out that his material seemed to draw a contrast between the two brothers, treating one as the primary focus of the comedy while largely leaving the other out of the spotlight. Whether intentional or not, many audience members noticed the difference. Outside of stand-up comedy, Kelly Osbourne also became part of the discussion during a podcast appearance.
I think the proof is in the pudding, in the sense you've been handed the world and every major contract, you had podcasts, you have all of this, and you didn't deliver because there's
nothing to deliver.
Yeah, because you don't have it.
Speaking from her own perspective, she reflected on Harry's public journey and expressed disappointment over what she believed had been achieved since stepping away from royal duties. Her comments represented her personal opinion rather than confirmed fact, but they quickly gained attention because of her familiarity with celebrity circles and her willingness to speak candidly. One point she emphasized was that enormous opportunities had been placed in front of Harry and Meghan after their move to California. Critics have argued that those opportunities should have resulted in more successful entertainment projects, while supporters maintain that success can't always be measured solely by ratings, rankings, or commercial performance. That's exactly why the debate continues to divide audiences.
Of course, it's easier to bet on yourself when, despite publicly failing repeatedly, whether it's Spotify or American Riviera Orchard or whatever, there's somebody waiting in the wings to give you another break because of the man you're married to, because of your proximity to the British royal family. Yeah, it's easy to bet on yourself. People keep giving you a chance despite the fact that you fail. The return on investment is not there. You lack the work ethic required to function in today's society where everybody is somebody.
Another observation repeated by several commentators is that public messaging plays a huge role in shaping perception. Some critics argue that speaking frequently about personal struggles can become less effective if audiences begin focusing more on visible success, wealth, and celebrity status. Supporters strongly disagree, saying financial success doesn't prevent someone from discussing difficult experiences. Both perspectives continue to exist side by side, making this one of the most polarizing celebrity stories in recent memory. Looking at everything together, it's clear this conversation has grown beyond one television series, one podcast, or one interview. It's become a broader discussion about branding, public expectations, media strategy, and how celebrities connect with audiences over time. The comedians didn't create these debates, they simply reacted to conversations that were already taking place across entertainment media and social platforms. Whether their conclusions are fair is something every viewer can decide for themselves, but one thing is undeniable. The public fascination with Meghan and Harry shows no sign of disappearing anytime soon. At the end of the day, this entire story comes down to one question. Why has it remained such a huge topic for so long? Is it because of the projects themselves, the public reactions, the comedians weighing in, or simply the gap between expectations and reality? No matter where you stand, it's clear that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry continue to generate headlines unlike almost any other celebrity couple.
No more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry. If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, man.
We know what that means. That's LA. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She's just got luck.
Throughout this video, we've looked at opinions from well-known comedians and public personalities, including Jimmy Carr, Chris Rock, and Kelly Osbourne. Every one of them approached the story from a different angle, and whether you agreed with their comments or completely disagreed, their observations became part of a much bigger conversation taking place across entertainment and social media. Of course, these are their opinions and interpretations, and everyone is free to reach their own conclusions. Now it's your turn. Which comment or moment stood out to you the most? Did you think Jimmy Carr made the strongest point? Did Chris Rock's perspective get your attention? Or did Kelly Osbourne's remarks leave the biggest impression? Let everyone know in the comments because I read through them and I'm always interested to see where viewers stand on stories like this. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who follows celebrity news, and subscribe so you don't miss future updates and discussions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. While you're here, click on the next video appearing on your screen right now for even more celebrity drama, royal news, and the latest entertainment stories you won't want to miss.